Well, in another very Apple mood, Google left us with one very last little thing at the very, very end of their keynote. So if you got up from your seat too fast or you closed the window, you didn't see this. But what it was a 2-minute video of what looked to be a pair of augmented reality glasses. Very Rivers Cuomo styled sort of glasses, very thick rimmed, something that you would perhaps wear with a sweater. And these AR glasses, what they were shown to do was live transcriptions, just right there in one part of the eye from whoever was talking to you in another language. And, I mentioned the scene exploration in Google Lens earlier, and I just feel like this is it. Like, this is what it's going to be like when Google finally implements its AR vision. What do you think, Michelle?
I'm excited by how... Well, okay, I have multiple thoughts because my cynical immediate first thought is it's Google Glass 2.0.
I know.
But no, what I'm excited by is how normal the glasses looked. They weren't these big, bulky things. They weren't even necessarily as thick as like Snapchat spectacles, which are probably the closest to being like the most unobtrusive AR glasses you can get. They just look like regular glasses, which I think is the type of VR or AR, more realistically, experience that I want. I don't want to have this big, heavy thing bolted to my head for several hours, directly blocking my vision of the real world, even if there's software solutions around that. But this seems like something that people would actually buy, and showing it as a way to do translations rather than as like a fun little heads-up display for the real world like Glass was, I think is a smart move, because that is something people actually use their smartphone for quite often. It's something that they mentioned earlier in the show. A lot of the early parts of Google I/O were just talking about like the regular Google search and Google Maps and Google Translate suite. And it's interesting to see them recognize they still have that strengths even as they move into the hardware market and base new hardware around those strengths. That said, this was just a very small teaser. We don't have a name yet. We don't even know if these glasses will end up looking like that, which is a shame because I do want them to look like that. I'm very picky about what kind of VR or AR devices I put on my face. But it's still a touch metaversy, which is always something that spooks me a little bit for a number of reasons. But it's a metaverse application that is firmly rooted in our reality and in real world needs and serving people who might not otherwise be served by other options. So I think it's a smart move.